Hello everybody. In this video I'm gonna talk about compound interest. In the previous video I talked about simple interest, the formula, what is the formula of simple interest and how we can calculate the simple interest. In this video I'm gonna talk about the compound interest. First, what is the difference between compound interest and simple interest? In simple interest, actually, at the end of the period of investment, we are gonna receive some extra money. We are not, the bank or the organization is not gonna pay us interest on interest. But in compound interest, at the end of each period that we are receiving some interest, is gonna be added to our principal, the initial value of the money, and the interest gonna be calculated on the original value plus the previous interest that we have received. Let me explain with an example. Let's say if I invest $10,000 at the interest rate of 10%. I'm just using this $10,000 and 10% to make it easier to calculate. Let's say for 3 years. Okay. If I invest $10,000, 10% annually for 3 years in simple interest, how we calculate it? The amount of interest is gonna be principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time per year, which the principal is $10,000, rate is 10% or 0. Divide 10% to the decimal, which is gonna be 0.10 or actually 1/10, right? Multiplied by 3 years, which gonna be $3,000 or $300, right? Multiplied by $1,000 multiplied by 3,000 is gonna be amount of interest, simple interest in 3 years. If I invest $10,000 in simple interest, at the end of the 3 years, I will receive $3,000 as interest. Now, let's calculate if we put the same value of money in compound interest, and the interest gonna be calculated yearly. So remember this 3,000, I want to calculate in compound interest. In the compound interest, as I told you, the value of interest is going to be added to the original money or the initial money and used as a principal for the second part. So if we put this amount in the compound interest for the first year, $10,000 multiplied by 10% or 0.1 multiplied by 1 year, which gonna be $1,000, is the amount of interest at the end of the first year. Okay, so this is for the first year. In the second year, how much gonna be my money? $10,000 plus this $1,000 interest, which should be $11,000. At the beginning of the second year, my money is not 10,000 anymore, it's 11,000, because I gained 1,000 as interest at the end of the first year. So beginning of the second year is gonna be 11,000 multiplied by again 10% multiplied by 1 year, which gonna be $1,100. Okay, the interest for the second year, end of the second year, $1,100 I received interest. For the third year, at the beginning of third year, how much is my maturity value, or how much is actually my principal? 11,000 plus 1,100, which gonna be 12,100. Okay, again multiply by 10% multiplied by 1 year, which gonna be $1,210. Okay. Now, how much is the amount of interest at the end of the period or end of the 3 years? How much gonna be? Is $3,310. Okay, 210, 310, and 3000 is $3,310. This is the value of interest that I received in compound interest annually. Compare with the $3,000 with the simple interest. So $3,310 multiple minus $3,000 is $310. Can you see? I am receiving $300 more when I'm investing in compound interest instead of simple interest. Okay, and this one actually the amount of interest calculated at the end of each year, or actually is annually. Okay? But sometimes it's semi-annually. It means after every 6 months the interest gonna be calculated, or monthly. It means after every month the amount of interest is calculated, added to the original value, and used as the principal for the second month. Okay, or sometimes is calculated daily. It means at the end of the day the amount of interest calculated and added to the original value. As you see, when we have the period of interest is shorter, the value of interest that we are receiving is gonna be higher. The same thing happens when we are borrowing money. So when we are calculating compound interest, we are paying more interest compared with simple interest. Actually, in most of the organization, they are using compound interest instead of simple interest. Okay. Now, for calculating the compound interest, as you see in this format, is very hard to calculate year by year or month by month. We have another formula. We have two ways to calculate compound interest. One way is using the table of the payment table. Okay, one method is using the payment table. There are some tables that is written that the interest rate, as an example, 4%, 5%, 6%, and so on. And in this column, they are using for 1 year. This is the percent, this is the rate, and this is the time, which gonna be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. Okay, and in they are already calculated the value. If I, as an example, if I invest, as an example, $10,000 for 1 year, 4%, and in the top of the table is explained it's annually or semi-annually or monthly or daily. So when we are using the interest payment, the calculation of when we are using the compound interest payment, always pay attention if the table is calculated for annually, semi-annually. Semi-annually, it means twice per year or every 6 months, or monthly, which is end of each month, or daily. So pay attention at the title of the table, that which table we are using. Then pay attention for the rate, which rate we are using. Then pay attention for the period, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. The values that's written here is for $1. As an example, if I use the compound interest table, let me just find it out. Okay, for 4% for 1 year, if I look at the table, is 1.04000, is 1.04000. Okay, what it means, 04000. Yeah, what it means? It means if I invest $1 with a rate of 4% annually, at the end of the 1 year I will receive $1.04. Okay, now if I, instead of $1, I invested $10,000, for $1 I should receive 1.04000. When it's 10,000, I should multiply this 10,000 by this number, which gonna be multiplied by 1.0400. Then it's gonna be 1.040. Move this one, 400. Yeah, this is gonna be amount of money that I will receive at the end of the year, because it was for $1 is worth this one. If I multiply this one by 10,000, which is the amount of my investment, this is gonna be my maturity value or final value that I'm gonna receive. If, let's say, if I go to the monthly compound table, yeah, if I go to the, as an example, compound interest table, compounded monthly. So for $1 is gonna be 1.04074. 1.04074. Okay, if it was monthly. So again, if I compounded monthly 0.74. Yeah. So if I invest $1 with compounded monthly, it means at the end of the month they calculate my payment. At the end of the 1 year, how much I'm gonna receive? 1.04074. And if I invest $10,000, then I should multiply this 10,000 by this number. Then I will calculate how much I'm gonna get paid, how much gonna be my final value at the end of 1 year. If I invest, as an example, $10,000 for 10 years for 6%, I should go to the monthly, compounded monthly. So I should go to the 6% column, I should go to the 10-year column, and the intersection of these two, I will find the value. Whatever this value is for $1, I should multiply the amount of investment, whatever is the amount of investment. If it's 10,000, multiply this number by 10,000. If it's 100,000, multiply the 100,000 by this number which is written here. So when we are using the table, monthly payment calculated interest calculated table, always pay attention to if it's monthly, daily, annually, semi-annually, or quarterly. Semi-annually, as I told you, is twice per year. Quarterly, it means 4 times per year or every 3 months. Or daily, which is every day, which is and 1 year, which we consider that 365 days. Anyway, go pay attention to the title of the table, interest rate, and the time, the year. This is one way that we can calculate the compound interest rate, the compounded interest value that we should receive. Okay, but there is a limitation for this part. What is the disadvantage of using the table? First of all, we are limited to this percent that is written at the top of the table. As an example, if I want to use 4.5% or 4.35%, which is nowadays, which is very normal, this type of rate, I don't have this rate in the table. Okay, or the years is from 1 year to, let's say, 30 years. If I want to use 35 years or 1.5 years, then the number is not here. The other way of using the compound interest table is using the formula, which is much more efficient. We need a little bit more calculation. It's not as easy as this one, but we are not limited to the numbers in the table. Okay, so what is the formula that we can use? The formula that we are using for compound interest is, this is the formula. Amount is equal principal times 1 plus rate multiplied by n to the power of nt. I will explain what are each of this variable, what is the name of each variable. This part A is the final amount. It means if I invest or $10,000 in a saving account, let's say after 10 years, how much gonna be received? The 10,000 plus the total interest that is added to my initial value. This gonna show me by the final amount. P is the principal value or the original value. R is the annual rate. Which can be 10%, 5%, 3.75%, whatever it is. N is the number of times that the interest is calculated per year. If it's annually, n gonna be 1. If it's semi-annually, n gonna be 2. If it's quarterly, n gonna be 4. If it's monthly, n gonna be 12. And if it's daily, n gonna be 365. So n is the number of compound interest calculation in 1 year. Okay, and same n is here. T is time per year. T is time per year. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and what. So this is the using the formula. As I told you, in this formula, we don't have any limitation for the principal, the rate, the n, or the time. Okay. Let's use some examples, both using the table, the calculation table, or compound interest table, or the formula. Both of them, I will show how we can calculate. Let's use an example. Let's say $650. An investment on $650. Okay, pays 6.75%. Annual interest compound semi-annually. This is the annual interest. The way of calculation is semi-annually. Okay. And what is the interest earned after 5 years? The calculation asking what is the interest, find the interest after 5 years. Okay. So if you want to use the compound interest table, first we should go to the table with the title of semi-annually. Okay. If we go to the table with the title of semi-annually, okay, semi-annually is twice per year. And look at the interest rate of 6.75%. 6.75% is in the second part of the table. Okay, I'm using this as an example. I'm using this table. Okay, I'm using this table as an example. I don't know if it's visible or not. Okay, look at here, is written semi-annually, compounded semi-annually, right, written at the top of the table. Okay, and is 4%, 4.25%, and at the bottom is again 6.25, 6.50, 6.75. So look at the 6.75 in the semi-annually table, and how much is the time is 5 years, which is 5 years is here. Okay, so if in the calculation of 5 years and 6.75, the number that I'm finding is gonna be the number that I'm finding in this table is gonna be for 5 years is 1.39365. This is the number that I'm finding in the semi-annually compound interest table, for 5 years and 6.75% rate. This is for $1. Multiple by 650. Because this 650 is my original value. If I calculate this number, the result is gonna be 1.39365 multiplied by 650, which gonna be 905.8725 $, and this is gonna be my final value. But remember, because we have only 2 digits after the decimal when we are receiving money, so we should round this one to the 2 digits after decimal, which is going to be $905.87. This is the final value that I'm gonna receive. But if the question asking find the interest, so for calculating the interest, my original value is $650, but my final value is $905. So the interest is gonna be 905.87 minus 650, which gonna be 7, 8, and 5, and 255 and $87 is the value of interest. Okay, this is the value of it. I used the monthly payment, the calculation table, the compound interest table. I use the compound interest table to find the value. Now, in the other method, I am gonna use the formula. Just remember, this is I'm writing at the top. This 905.87 $. I'm writing at the top that I calculated by using the table. Now I'm gonna use the formula. The formula is amount is P times 1 plus R over N T. Right? Now, I'm looking for amount. The principal is $650. 1 plus, how much is the rate? 6.75% or 0.0675. I converted percent to decimal because it's semi-annually. In semi-annually, how many times I'm calculating the interest per year? Twice. Semi means every 6 months. So it's gonna n is 2 to the power of n again is 2, and t is 5 years. For 5 years. Okay? After 5 years. Now, if I calculate this one, it's gonna be 650. 1 plus, if I calculate this one, Where is my calculator? 0.675 divided by 2 is equal this one, plus 1 is equal this one, which gonna be that this one is gonna be 1 plus 0.3375 to the power of 10. Okay, if I calculate this one again, is gonna be this part to the power of 10. Yeah, this part is, let me just calculate it, x to the y to the power of 10, which gonna be 1.3650 times this part to the power of 10 is 1.3936, and keep going. And if I calculate this one, multiply by 650, is gonna be 905.875. If I round it again, it's gonna be 0.87. Okay, so this is the formula that I use. In this formula, can you see I don't have any, I'm not limited to the table, monthly payment table. Okay, sorry, compound interest table. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and this one is about the compound interest table, and I hope that you enjoy this one. Thank you, and see you later.